And we're live. Dun, 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 dun. This, this is now in the book of Judges in the Bible. Israel has gotten the promised land that they were promised from the Lord their God. They, through their leader Joshua, they have marched into it and are now taking over the territories. But the real question comes, will they be obedient and be able to keep this promised land that they have been given? All rise. The honorable judges of the Bible are now presiding, with this scripture now being read by King Gabe. Okay. All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy King Gabe there. Had a little moment there since we're reading the book of Judges. I was like, yeah, let's, have a little reference with our judges of the day, yeah, the little People's Court Judge Judy, whichever courtroom show y'all that you got, any of y'all that watched, different court shows and stuff like that. You got Judge Judy, People's Court, divorce court, and all of that there. And I'm not really big on watching court pictures, but the only reason I know, the different ones and, have kind of had exposure to them is because of my grandparents and even my mom, but mostly my grandparents there because they watch soap operas and court pictures. They watch those pretty much every chance they get there. Especially now, with them being retired and everything. No, I mean, like I say, everybody got their thing. Just like how we watch what we watch. Everybody got that's like that's like, but that's good. It's good and have you gotta have something you're into. Yeah. So yeah, like I say, in the book of Judges, here comes the judges, here comes the judges, here in the Bible will Israel keep the land. Oh boy, I might. Who knows? Maybe if I think about it, depending on what I can put together, I might do a little short for that there, like what I just did, that little intro I just did there. Maybe have some footage or something like that, depending on what I can come up with there. But or if not, I might save something for when my boy Samson come on there, because I actually looked ahead in here because I was curious. Okay, so when I know there's other judges. Matter of fact, there's even a female judge in here, Deborah. There may be some other ones, but we'll find out as we're reading, as I'm reading this. But I do know about Deborah. She's one of the judges. She'll be popping up at some point before Samson. But as far as Samson, he doesn't show up until chapter 13. So got a little while ways to go. Sort of like when we read through the book of Numbers. We was wait. I was kind of anxious to see when old Balaam and Balak were going to show up with the talking donkey. That why have you hit me all? Why have you hit me? And I've been faithful to you, and you've ridden me all these years. Oh wait, it was a female donkey. Why you? Why? Why are you hitting me so? Have I not been faithful to you? You have ridden me for so many years, and I've been very loyal to you ever so much. I don't know how the donkey probably sounded, but that's just my kind of guess, considering the dialogue there. But that's not a big focus though, just a little something. All right, so let's dive right in. And I know this is kind of early. Um, I know it's like, well, why? Well, hey, how come you ain't, in the evening time like usual with the live streams there? Because that's now. Sometimes I have done some live streams in the daytime, but usually they were kind of outside of my normal live streams. And most of my normal live streams would be at night, like these Bible readings and such. However, and there have been a few cases I've done it in the day, but it was very rare. So in this case, this rare instance, this is because funny story. This we've had, I mentioned it in the weekly update, we had a water, it was something going on with the water line here in Shreveport. So we could, a lot of us, like, places of business and stuff like that, couldn't, had, certain, I guess they were sort of limited with, or some, well, it affected a lot of businesses there, and where I work at Kroger, with produce and everything, we couldn't, that really affected us. However, with the church, though, and this is the reason of, why we're here at the time we are, because at the church throughout last week, they have been, Brookwood, they have been closed there due to the water advisory with the city. So, they try to, be on the safe side there. But it was still going on yesterday, and so I hadn't heard anything. So first thing I was thinking was that we weren't going to be at church today. So what happened this morning? I sort of called myself. I was thinking like okay, I guess they're not probably going to meet. So I was actually going to start this around like 9 o'clock, to be honest. And what happened was I sort of overslept after my wife went to work because she had to be at work early this morning, 6 o'clock. So I kind of like, well, I'm gonna kind of rest my eyes a little bit, and I set my alarm to wake up and everything around like 8 o'clock so I could get ready and be here about like 9 or 9:30. But I overslept and and also realized as I woke up, it was past 9 o'clock, and I think like almost over into 10 o'clock, and I realized that service was going on. So they must have. So I'm assuming they must have sent a notice, but the problem was I was asleep, and yeah, it was So it's kind of too late to go down. So I was like, oh boy, but at least I'll be at church next Sunday. So like I say, it's kind of an accident, but I'll be there next Sunday. And on top of and because the fact that they having their church service, I actually, according to Google, seem like they've gotten things back to normal with the water, so that explains why. So because of that, yeah, that's why I'm here at this time as opposed to, well, if you woke up around like 10 something, you could have went on and started immediately after you got up, Gabe. But since I saw that the church was going on, I figured now let me at least, because by now, yeah, obviously they're out of church and everything, so that way at least the main services anyway. Now I don't know about extra programs and stuff like that, but yeah, at least the main services. Yeah. That's what oops, that little tear on my sleeve there. But so that's why I'm doing it now, just for this Sunday. So and just be advised, there may be some other Sundays where I might do it like this. But still go to church though. Yeah, maybe. And you might see me in what I wore to church. I probably just come straight from church and right here to the live stream there. So there might be some Sundays I might do this there. With depending on what's all going on. If it's where like, well, hey, I come from church and I'll do this, and then after the reading, we go, get something to eat and do it, and go about the rest of the day. Might possibly do that because, yeah, like I said, I'm fully alert and everything. It's daylight. Not so yeah, it might work. So we'll see. We'll see. But you'll know. And like I say, if I don't be up in the daytime, hey, I'll be here in the evening. So yeah, like I say, 'cause we won't let a Sunday go by without a Bible reading unless something comes up out of my control. Yeah, like something that's to completely like gets in the way there, like as I say, something out of my control or some emergency or something like that. But yeah, none of those things. This is where we'll be. Like I say, either be a day or night. So Well, but Sunday, good Lord say the same. We do plan to keep this up there, the Bible readings as well as other live streams that we do. So going into Judges, how far will we get? We're about to find out there. Um, yeah, we're about to find out there, kind of. So kind of keep an eye on the the little running time up here, because like I say, not just the Bible reading, but any of the live streams in general. I try not to go over an hour. If I go over an hour a little bit, it'd be a little bit. It won't be like oh he's over 2 or 3 and all that. But if something like that happens, like I go a little past the hour, maybe even like an hour and a half, if that much. If a lot of time it may be because like I say, maybe like there's people in the live stream that I may get talking with during the live there, like last night with the weekly update, with Janara and stuff. So yeah, like maybe because that's one thing, live stream people kind of talk to you, so like I say, you gotta respond back, so. So yeah, if something like that happens or anything, and like talking or they asking questions or something like that, which I do encourage that as well, because like I say, we can't learn nothing if we don't ask no questions. So 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 yeah, anything like that happens will probably go. But yeah, like I say, when that hour mark come, yeah, I'll try to like okay, let's try to wrap it up. Like I said, that's any, not just the Bible, but that's any live stream. That way it won't be like we on for a long time, and because it's like that, and plus you'll come back wanting more. The continuing conquest of Canaan, chapter 1 of Judges. After the death of Joshua, the people of Israel inquired to the Lord, "Who shall go up first for us against the Canaanites and fight against them?" The Lord said, "Judea shall go up. Behold, I have given the land into his hand." And Judea said to Simeon his brother, "Come up with me into the territory allotted to me. We may fight the Canaanites, and I likewise will go with you into the territory allotted to you." So Simeon went in with him. Then Judea went up, and the Lord gave the Canaanites and the Perizzites into their hands, and they defeated 10,000 of them at Bezekah. Okay. And they found the they found Adon Bezek, Adonibezek. Quite a name there. At Bezek, and fought against him and defeated the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And Adonibezek fled, but they pursued him and caught him and cut off his thumbs and his big toes. Ouch! And he said, 70 kings with their thumbs and big toes cut off used to pick up scraps under my table, as I have done. So God has repaid me. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died there. And the men of Judea fought against Jerusalem and captured it and struck it with the edge of the sword. And set the city on fire. Afterward, the men of Judea went down to fight against the Canaanites who lived in the hill country in Negev, Negeb, and in the lowland. And Judea went against the Canaanites who lived in Hebron. Now the name Hebron is formerly Kariabra. I think I like Hebron better. And they defeated Shishai and Iman and Talmud. From there, they went against the inhabitants of Debir. The name Debir was formerly Kirsipur, excuse me, and Cable, who attacks Kareh Sipar and captures it. And I will give him Ashtar, my daughter, for a wife, and Onan, the son of Kizi, Kenaz, Cable's younger brother, captured it, and he gave him Ashar for his wife, for his daughter for a wife. And she came to him and urged him to ask her father for a field. And she dismounted from her donkey, and Cable said to her, "What do you want?" And she said to him, "Give me a blessing, since you have set me in the land of Negev. Give me the springs of the water." And Cable gave her the upper springs and the lower springs, and the descendants of the Kenite, Moses' father-in-law, went up with the people to Judea from the city of the palms into the wilderness of Judea, which lies in Negev, they near Arad, and they went and settled with the people. And Judea went with Simeon, his brother, and they defeated the Canaanites who inhabited Zapheh and devoted it to destruction. So the name of the city was called Harmah. And Judea also captured Gaza with its territory, and Ash and Ashkelon with the territory of Ekron with its territory, and the Lord was with Judea, and he took possession of the hill country, but he could not drive out the inhabitants of the plain because they had chariots of iron, and Hebron was given to Cable, as Moses had said, and he drove out from it the three sons of Anak. But the people of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites who lived in Jerusalem, for the Jebusites lived with the people of Benjamin in Jerusalem to this day. And the house of Joseph also went up against Bethel, and the Lord was with them. And the house of Joseph scattered out Bethel. Now the name of the city was formerly Luz. And the spies saw a man coming out of the city, and they said to him, "Please show us the way into the city, and we will deal kindly with you." And he showed them the way into the city, and they struck with the city with the edge of the sword. But they let the man, all his family, go. And the man went into the land of the Hittites and built a city and called this name Luz, and say Luz, until this, and that is his name unto this day. And now a failure to complete the conquest. Manasseh did not drive out the inhabitants of Sheen and its villages, or Tarnag and its villages, or the inhabitants of Dor and its villages, or the inhabitants of Abil and its villages, of the inhabitants of Megiddo and its villages, for the Canaanites persisted in dwelling in that land. When Israel grew strong, they put the Canaanites to forced labor, but did not drive them out completely. And Ephraim did not drive out the Canaanites who lived in Gazar. So the Canaanites lived in Gazar among them. Excuse me. Zebulun did not drive out the inhabitants of Kitron or the inhabitants of Nalon. So the Canaanites lived among them, but became subject to forced labor. Ashar did not drive out the inhabitants of Akkar and the inhabitants of Sidon, or of Adla, Ahlab, or Abzib, or Hebah, or of the Aphik, say Epigig, or of Rehob. So the Asherites lived among the Canaanites and the inhabitants of the land, but they did not drive them out. Niptali did not drive out the inhabitants of Beersheba, of Benjamin, or the inhabitants, or the of Bethany. So they lived among the Canaanites and the inhabitants of the land. Nevertheless, the inhabitants of Bethshemesh, Bethshemesh and Bethany became subject to forced labor for them. And the Amorites pressed the people of Dan back into the hill country, for they did not allow them to come to the plain. And the Amorites persisted in dwelling in Mount Hers and Ajalon and in the Shabam, but the hand of the house of Joseph rested heavily on them. They came subject to forced labor, and the border of the Amorites ran from the ascent of Acharim and from Selah and upward. And then chapter 2. Israel disobedience. Uh-oh. Now the angel of the Lord went up from Gilad to Bachmich and he said, I have brought you out from Egypt and brought you to the land I swore to your fathers. I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and you shall make no covenant with the inhabitants of the land. You shall break down their altars, but you have not obeyed my voice. What is this you have done? So now I say, I will not drive them out before you, but they shall become thorns in your side, and their gods shall be a snare to you. As soon as the angel of the Lord spoke these words to all the people of Israel, the people lifted up their voices and wept, and they called that name of that place Bachim, and they sacrificed there to the Lord. Say obedience is better than sacrifice, people. The death of Joshua. When Joshua dismissed the people, and the people of Israel each went into his inheritance and take possession of the land, the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua, and all the days of the elders who outlived Joshua, who had seen the great work that the Lord had done for Israel. And Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110 years old. They buried him within the boundaries of his inheritance in Timnah-Heres, in the hill country of Ephraim, north of the mountain of Gash. And all the generations also were gathered to the fathers, and there arose another generation after them who did not know the Lord or the work that he had done for Israel. Israel's unfaithfulness. And the people of Israel did what was evil in the sight of the Lord and served the Baals, the idols of this land. Ugh. It's the golden calf all over again. I know. Why? And they abandoned the Lord, the God of their fathers, who had brought them out of the land of Egypt, and they went after other gods from among the gods of the people who were around them and bowed to them. Why? And now I just thought about, I know it's not going to be till chapter 13, but I just thought about Delilah, the story of Samson and Delilah, when they mentioned in the Greatest Adventure Story from the Bible episode, they mentioned about one of the gods of the Philistines, Dagon or something like that. Oh, Dagon. And they provoked the Lord to anger, and they abandoned the Lord and served the Baals and Ashtoreth. So the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he gave them over to plunderers, to plundered them, and he sold them into the hand of their surrounding enemies, so that they could no longer withstand their enemies. Whenever they marched out, the hand of the Lord was against them for harm, as the Lord had warned. And as the Lord had sworn to them, they were in terrible distress. See, that's why you don't disobey. I mean, even just in life in general, you do what you're not supposed to do, and there's going to be consequences. I mean, just think about in general. If you're out driving and you run the light or run the stop sign, chances are that a cop is going to come and pull you over. License and registration, please. And if a cop doesn't, and if there is no cop out there, chances are the consequences that you end up in a wreck because the traffic on the other end that got the green light end up going and crashing into you. So yeah, there are consequences. Or like you say, something as simple as one thing Will Smith mentioned once. Uh, beating your head on the pole. You get a headache. You stick your hand in the fire. It's gonna burn. so, so you disobey God with these idols and stuff. You're gonna get punished. That's there's consequences there. Even as kids, we're taught this even as kids. Hey, and so you disobey, you end up getting punished there. Hey, what's going on, Janara? Glad to see you here. Let's say we just got to we just got into this. We started with the beginning of Judges. We're over in the second chapter. Things aren't looking so good for Israel. They got their land. Now well, we got the land, so we can do whatever we want to. Yay! Let's worship the Baal God. And now it's like, yeah, bro. Okay. Oh no. The thing is, this is what I'm referring to when it comes to idol. They're worshiping these are you remember the Ten Commandments movie when they had the golden calf. It's like even though God had brought them out of Egypt, they got talked into, hey, let's build this golden calf. And they was worshiping it and offering sacrifices to it there instead of the one true God there. So they end up getting punished when Moses got back down from the mountain and melted the calf and greatly punished them there. So it's talking about that kind of idol, yeah. So like you say, yes, as I say, that was one because he made it very clear to Israel, you get this promised land, Israel. When you get it, keep your covenant, like I say, keep your obedience to me, and you'll prosper in this land. But like I say, Israel not doing that there. Yeah. Yep. No, it's not. No, it isn't there. Yeah, that's just and I mentioned before, that's just like in general, in general, you do something wrong and there is going to be a consequence behind it there, just for example, somebody trying to steal something there and they get caught, there's a consequence to it there, yeah, or so or even use myself as an example. I was once told to park my car in a certain location. When we had some construction going on, they were doing something in our driveway back when I was still with my mom and dad, and so the neighbor offered us to park over in there in their yard. So what happened was I was parking my car on the side of the road. My mom was like, "No, the neighbor is offering that you can park over there, so park over there, Gabe, not on the side of the road." And I was like, "I'll be fine, Mom." And because I did not obey that, I woke up one morning and someone had crashed into my car. So, and another consequence that's kind of a little bit of a smaller scale, but still, disobedience and obedience. Gabe, don't eat so much of that watermelon. And I was like, Mom, that watermelon's good for me. It ain't gonna do nothing to me. And I tried to eat that whole container of watermelon, which was way too much, and ended up with a stomach ache. Stomach hurt. They said, well, I told you, Gabe, not to eat so much watermelon at one time. So lesson learned there, that's just it is what it is, even to me. So, now where the Lord raises up the judges, yeah, yeah, something is about to give. Now the judge is gonna have to come up in here. We had leaders at first with what was they see how probably I would say well, I know in the cases of the show they he was like if he did some a lot of any I think like a lot of times when he did something on the show he was under evil influence or something like that, like a spell from Rita, like when he was under a spell to give the dragon dagger to Goldar or something like that, or the hate master when they had Billy and everybody except for Aisha hating each other and all that there. And yeah, there were consequences to that, but yeah, they were under evil spells. But yeah, that would be somewhat of an example there. Yeah. So now we got judges, but we had leaders at first, like Moses and Joshua. They were two of the leaders. That's pretty big star leaders. I guess you could, I would. This is just my guess. You could say Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and possibly Joseph were somewhat leaders there. Um, but I guess on Moses and Joshua because they not only they were like leading them like hey, let's march out of Egypt, and march across the Red Sea. Joshua's case, let's go into Jericho, and Jericho falls there. So but yeah, so we went from leaders now to judges now. For the judges here, as I said in the intro, here comes the judge. Here come the judges. Or I sort of did a little People's Court reference. Do do do. Now Israel has been given the land that they've been promised, but now they have gotten so comfortable in the land, they feel no longer need to obey the Lord and are serving the idols of Baal. The Lord has taken action upon them for discipline. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. And to say, like I say, the more you know, the more God's word and getting closer with God there, not because that will even this the more you're in it, the more spiritually stronger you get. And the thing is, um, even with your spiritual strength, you know, Satan gonna try to come out there and try to break it down. Because that's the thing is, people that usually don't that are not really in it, like, or maybe like they go to church, but they're not in, they're not really applying it or anything like that. He already got them. But it's like say people who, are, trying, keeping a daily Bible study and trying to increase their faith. Satan's going to try to break them down with different things to make them turn away from God there. And that's even the more reason why it's so when you're in Christ, you got to keep yourself in Christ, with prayer, keep praying and everything, keep studying. That way, you have a defense against Satan. Just like, with your car, like just like a car, for example, you give it daily checkups and everything and take it, for maintenance and stuff like that to make sure nothing goes wrong with it. Say that way, you're up to date to make sure it runs well. Okay. Or even us as a human body, we get checkups to make sure everything's going good with us. If we get sick outside of our checkup, we go and like we have a little flu bug, we take something for it. The COVID struck, we went and got shots for it there. So, yep, that's but yeah, so many things come up. Yeah, you gotta be prepared to have something to use against it. And so this right here, gives you a spiritual protection to, like you say, when Satan try to come up against you, like the way he did Jesus later in the New Testament there. Yeah, Jesus told him, "Away with you, Satan." So, yeah, he wasn't playing. He wasn't playing now. Yep, sure do. Yeah. All right. So then the Lord raised up the judges who saved them out of the hands of who plundered them. Yet they did not listen to the judges, for they whored after other gods and bowed to them. They soon turned aside from the way of which their fathers walked, and they had obeyed the commandments of the Lord, but they did not do so. Whenever the Lord raised up judges for them, the Lord was with the judge and saved them from the hands of their enemies all the days of the judge. For the Lord was moved to pity by their groaning because of those who afflicted and oppressed them. But whenever the judge died, they turned back and were more corrupt than their fathers, going after other gods, serving them and bowing down to them. They did not drop any of their practices or stubborn ways. So the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And he said, because this people have transgressed my covenant, that I commanded their fathers and have not obeyed their voice, I will no longer drive out any of the nations that Joshua left when he died, in order to test Israel by them, whether they will take care to walk in the way of the Lord their fathers did, or not, as their fathers did or not. So the Lord left those nations, not driving them out quickly, and did not give them into the hand of Joshua. And then chapter 3 continues. So now these are the nations that the Lord left to test Israel. That is all in Israel, all in Israel who had not experienced the wars in Canaan. It was only in order that the generations of the people of Israel might know war, to teach those who had not known it before. These are the nations, the five lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites and the Sidonites and the Hivites who lived on Mount Libron, from Mount Baal Hamon as far as Lebo-Hamath. They were for the testing of Israel, to know whether Israel would obey the commandments of the Lord, which he had commanded their fathers by the hands of Moses. So the people of Israel lived among the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, Hivites, and the Jebusites. Oh boy. And their daughters they took to themselves for wives, and their own daughters they gave sons and served their gods, getting all mingled with them and everything. And of course, go back to where it said the Philistines. The Philistines, yeah, that's going to be a big arch nemesis of Israel, especially when Samson comes up. Oh, thank you. But like I say, all glory go to God, though. That, like I say, I got they just keeping, and they say doing the best I can to keep the, and they say keep up the faith, like I say. Yeah, that arc. Yep. It's got it, and the Bible. Yeah, it has quite an arc in in these different books there. It's one thing. They got their share of arcs. So now these are some of the judges here that are coming up. Othniel, Othniel. And the people did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, and they fought, and they forgot the Lord their God, served Baal and Asherah. Therefore, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. Okay. Oh, I get my stories and stuff. Okay, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I definitely would do that there. So they fought them, so they sold them into the hand of the Cushing king of Mesopotamia, and the people of Israel served the people of Israel served Cushan reign 8 years, but the people of Israel cried out to the Lord. The Lord raised up a deliverer from the people of Israel who saved them. O'Neill. Oh, okay. Hey, keep up the good work, man. Yeah. They, they, so he raised up O'Neill, the son of Kenaz, Cable's younger brother. The Spirit of the Lord was upon him, and he judged Israel and went out to war. And the Lord gave the Cushan king of Mesopotamia into his hand, and his hand prevailed over Cush. So the land had rest 40 years. Then O'Neill, the son of Kezon, died. And then we have another judge that comes up after the people did again what was evil in the sight of the Lord. The Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab. That was another big enemy of Israel from the past there, Moabites there, because they had done what was evil in the sight of the Lord. And he gathered himself the Amorites and the Amalekites. The Amalekites, especially them two, and went and defeated Israel. They took possession of the cities and the palms. The people served Eglon and the king of Moab 18 years. And the people cried out to the Lord. He raised up the deliverer Ehud, Ehud, the son of Gera, the Benjaminite, a left-handed man, and the people of Israel sent tribute to him, to Eglon, the king of Moab. And Elam made himself a sword with two edges, a cubit and a length, and he bound it on his right thigh under his sword, and he presented a tribute to Eglon, the king of Moab. Now, Eglon, here's kind of, no, he's not. This king surely is not a good person. And here's an interesting thing that's about to happen. Eglon was a very fat man, probably bigger than me. And when Ehud had finished presenting his tribute, he sent away the people who had carried the tribute. But he turned himself back to the idols near Gilad and said, "I have a secret message for you, O king." And he commanded silence, and all his attendants went out from his presence, and Ehud came to him. And Ehud came to him and was sitting alone in his cool roof chamber. And Ehud said, "I have a message from God from you." He arose to the seat. Ehud reached out his left hand and took the sword from his right thigh and thrust into his belly. Oh my God. Yeah, God did take care of that there through Ehud there. They almost like that video EJ made about, when he said that the Lord will reveal who will reveal, the people that's trying to help you, and also the people who's trying to hurt you there, and he'll take care of the people. He'll take care of the people trying to hurt you. EJ showed the video, and then I did a little thing with Brownie and this other animal I had. I didn't give him a name or anything. That attached to the video, and like he had him praying, and the other animal was coming up to try to hurt Brownie. Grabbed, the hand of the Lord grabbed them and tossed them aside. Hello, where'd he go? Oh, don't worry, God took care of him. So, yeah. So thrust into his belly, and the hilt also went in after the blade, and the fat closed over, biting the hand that feed. Oh boy, yeah. You got some cases where that will happen. I've heard cases of that there. Like, they be telling, a lot of times they'll be telling pets a lot of times, don't you bite the hand that feeds you. So, yeah. So the hilt, the fat closed over the blade. He did not pull the sword out of his belly, and the dung came out. Ugh. Yeah. And the reason I react because Pretty sure you probably know what dung is. Ugh, boy. Mm. No rest for the wicked. Nope. Not it. Yep, yep, I've heard that saying, yeah. Well, yeah, that oof, dung. Then Ehud went into the porch and closed the doors of the roof chamber behind him and locked them. And when he had gone, the servants came out and they saw that the doors of the roof chamber had been locked. They thought, surely he is reviving himself in the closet of the cool chamber. And they waited until they were embarrassed. But when he did not open the doors, they took a key and opened it. And there the Lord lay dead. It was a while before they learned that this dude died there. Ehud escaped while they were delayed and passed beyond the idols and escaped to Seirah. When he had arrived, he sounded the trumpet in the hill country of Ephraim, and the people of Israel went down from the hill country, and he was their leader. And he said to them, "Follow after me. The Lord has given your enemies, the Moabites, into your hands." So they went after him and seized the fords of Jordan against the Moabites and did not allow anyone to pass over. They killed at that time about 10,000 of all the Moabites, all the strong-bodied, able men. Not one man escaped. So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest for 80 years. They got one. The last verse of the chapter. After him was Shagam, the son of Ekah, who killed 600 of the Philistines with an ox guard, Oxgoad, and he also saved Israel. Sort of just one verse on that guy there. Let me see what we got here. Okay, so so I know it's not quite at the hour mark, but I'm going to cut here because this is chapter 4 is going to talk about the first female judge, Deborah. So I'm gonna start there next Sunday because she got quite a bit of information on her there. Yeah, so that way we can start fresh with Deborah, like fresh start, you know. Yep. So we as we see the we're gonna be hearing about Deborah next Sunday. Yeah. So as I say, we did have some female leaders in the Bible, female, or in this case, a female judge. So apparently So apparently, Judge Judy is not the first female judge, or Maybelline now. Yeah. So yep. Oh, appreciate it there. So appreciate you, and appreciate you for coming there, as well as I saw somebody else kind of coming in and out there. Yep. So yep. Let's see. I'm gonna close there and get a few things. Got to get a few things done here, but we will be back next weekend for Saturday and Sunday for live streams there, and I'll be dropping some content on you guys throughout the week. And until then, definitely like, share, subscribe, and get our favorite books. So support us on the Patreon, just like the Iceman Universe does, and also support the Miracle Crew, with King Gabe, Queen Tina, Big Sis Casey, and of course don't worry, we are not forgetting you, Janara. Yeah, definitely Janara Nelson, part of our crew as well. And also EJ the Supreme. Yes, so all of us there, and definitely just like you hang out with us on the live streams. Definitely hang out with us on Discord and on Facebook, and as well as a few other. I don't really mention them, but I do have like I say, Instagram and Twitter. Yep, those are the two, as well as TikTok, because I use TikTok to make a lot of my shorts. So I'm on those too. You want to holler at me there? So, and also still some stuff on that McCary app there. And without further ado, we'll see y'all in the next video or live stream. Until then, take care, everybody. Ergo, the judges will continue next Sunday.